Hey y'all, welcome to the Room Studio. I'm actually on time. So, let's see what we can get up to today. Oh yeah, I'm not going to do this without my blue blocker glasses because I need to sleep. And staring at a computer screen before bed is not good for that. So, I've had a few things going on this weekend. Let me see. So I went to Geek Market at Borderlands Comics and Games in Greenville, South Carolina. And I set up my table at the very back and uh, click that in there. And I had some steampunk goggles and uh, some hatchable dragon eggs and a nice big stack of my comics, Soulbound. And I just tried really hard to actually talk about my comic and what it's about and share it with people. See, there it is. So after having a successful Kickstarter and having all my copies delivered here and coming really close last week to getting everything packed up and ready to ship out, it's still not ready. It was a busy weekend. I'm working on it though, and it's still going to be early. I mean, you can see my estimated delivery is for September. Um, oh yeah, my digital stuff I do need to deliver this month though. I just need to test out my link, make sure that works. I think I figured out how I'm going to do it, but I just need to test out the link. So you can see all my physical rewards. They're due to be delivered in September. Well, I have everything ready to deliver them now. All I need to do is finish doing the addresses and buy the postage. The mail lady's not going to know what hit her. So I do still have some copies left too. But at the show, well, the event on Saturday, in a comic shop, surrounded by all kinds of other comics, mainstream comics, indie comics, uh, comics by people that people have heard of. I managed to sell 7 copies of Soulbound issue 1. So I'm really excited about that. And, that's even with me, tripping over my own tongue trying to speak. I've gotten a little bit better at speaking on my art stream, but good gracious, it's hard to speak in person. I mean, I can do stuff like, "Hey, how are you?" I can even mention things about, "Yeah, it's so good to be indoors. I was scared that when we came, we'd have to be set up outside, and the weather's horrendous and all that." Yeah, I can say those things, but trying to get me to talk about my work, I don't know why, but it's the most terrifying thing. But everyone was very gracious about that. And mostly everyone, just about everyone, gave me a second to gather my thoughts and get back on track with what I wanted to say. So it was a really good experience. The only thing I didn't get to do was talk to the shop owner about possibly stocking my comic. Yeah, I dropped the ball there. Like, I saw him for a second and I thought about it, and then it kind of looked like he was busy, and then he was kind of gone. Uh, didn't know where he went to, and it was time to pack up and go. So I missed out on asking if I could have my comics stocked there. But I did sell 7 copies in a comic shop, so that is something. That's worth something. Pretty sure it was 7. I was trying to keep up. I was making notes. It was at least 7 copies. So yeah, exciting times. And let's see. Also exhausting times. I needed so much more sleep. Like, I could not get enough sleep after that. Yeah, let me try and use my shading to introduce some texture on the inside of the skull. Yeah, it's kind of a weird little piece, but I like it. Um, this is how I feel most days. Like, I definitely do not have things all together, and yet people are asking me stuff. Okay, I think this has gotten a little bit overlapped. Okay, neaten that up. Go back to my multiply layer. Nope. Whoops. And I had forgotten to go back to my marker or my pen. So I really should be finished with this piece tonight. I'm gonna add a little bit of overlay for highlights. But I think I'm just about done with my shading. Coming at this again after having the weekend off from it, I'm hoping that I will find all the things that I may have missed up to this point. It's always good to rest your eyes a bit on a project and return to it fresh later. Yes, this is a terrible position to find yourself in. Let me see. Alright, I'm not seeing anything else that really needs shading. So what I'm going to do now is add a new layer. Going to take this layer and change it to, I think, overlay. Overlay works for these sorts of things. And go to, I guess, pale tone. And see what that does. So this is going to be a very subtle effect. And I'm just going to streak some highlights around. Just to show where things are the most curved and shiny. So what I found is a good way to do this is to make the highlight bigger than it really ought to be and then subtract it out. Because that, I don't really know why. But that will remind me where there should be irregularities in the shape a little bit better than just trying to draw the highlight on straight. Let's see. This is also going to need to come through here. And I don't know that anything other than our Android is going to need highlighting. I mean, I don't really see anything else that's particularly shiny. So let me see. Let me just carve this bit of highlighting out. So it's really interesting the way that light and shadow add so much dimension to something that you're drawing. I mean, you come back into this, take it back out to the line art. It looks so much more flat. Even with just the shading on it. See, even with just the shading, it adds so much more depth. And now with the highlights, it's really going to make this whole thing pop. It's going to look really nice. I'm already pretty happy with it. I mean, so yeah, it's kind of a weird piece, but I like it. And I have been meaning to do more sci-fi things. This is actually kind of both. Which, considering I like both sci-fi and fantasy, that's not really a bad thing. But yeah, this is one of those weird world kind of blends with something high tech and broken, with a very low tech, well, in a rather low tech sort of world or context. I'm kind of wondering how much highlighting is going to be too much. I have this for a minute. Yeah, that's probably plenty on that. And just a little bit more on this leg that's sort of hanging out right here. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Let me just do a little bit along the spine so that that continues to pop. Possibly not in yellow. I think the yellow is a bit much. Let's get back on brown color. And so I'm just traveling down the spine here. Just trying to keep in mind where the light's going to be hitting it. Just so that it adds more dimension to the overall piece. That's too much right there, so let's take that out. Right, so I don't think that there's anything else it needs. And maybe a few of these little connectors. Yeah, I think we're in good shape. I think we can call this one finished. Here, so I'm gonna fit the screen. And delete my original layer. Let's see, what was this one? Oh yeah, that one was the stars. Do we leave the stars? I don't know. I kind of like the stars, but I don't know if I'm prepared to flatten those yet. Okay, here it is without the line work. That's always fun. So you can see where everything's colored, everything's highlighted. It looks a lot more like a painting this way. And what I could do, what I've done before, is start with this and like mess with either the flats layer or start with this or add another layer and make a painting out of it from here instead of the line art. On the other hand, I do kind of like the line art, so I don't know. I don't think that I'm ready to flatten this one. I think I'm going to keep this as separate layers just in case anybody would like to use this one, but instead of the line art, comic art like look, they'd rather it be further modified into a painting, or if they need it for a book cover and the stars might be too distracting in the background for the title to go there. But, you know, overall, let's see. You can see how, yeah, we'll call this little mock title. You can see how having a title up here, you read your title and then you follow, this is where the line of the art is taking you across to the bottom, and there's room here. You know, nothing's too terribly important or busy for your author name, for your byline or whatever. So I'm going to delete this bit by bit. And we'll just save that. And I'll probably save it as a few different versions. Like I can save a duplicate as say a PNG. Let me back up. I don't need it to go there. And see, that way, saving it in a PNG, saving a copy of it in a PNG. I really hope I haven't destroyed something just now because that's unnerving. It's okay though. The little thing's spinning. So saving it as a PNG. There we go. That should flatten the layers for me. And I still have this one in the dot clip file or format. It still has all the layers intact. So what I'm gonna, okay, let me set down my pen and do this with the mouse. Okay, so there it is as the PNG file. So this I should be able, if, let me check out properties again. It's sort of somewhat biggish. 18.8 megabytes, but I'll probably put this one up on my website as a as part of my portfolio slideshow that I have. Let's see. We'll okay, so there's my shop. So you see here I have my portfolio slideshow. And there's my poster that comes as part of my as the collector's edition or the collector's bundle from the Kickstarter. I still have some of those posters. There's my fan art of the Banshee from Heroes Fall by Morgan Newquist. It's the first book of the Heroes Unleashed series, or well, shared universe. It's also the first book of the series by Morgan Newquist in the series, in the universe. Goodness. This is another one I did for myself. It was a concept that I had. It would also make a good book cover with lots of contrast. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I'm going to have to put a watermark on this thing. This is my... well, it's not page 1 anymore on the comic, but it's page 1 of Becca's story in the comic. That's where I freshly colored it and went more simplified with the color scheme for it. Oh. This is some fan art of my own character, Penance Copper. This is going to be my character from the Heroes Unleashed shared universe from Silver Empire Press. I personally think this one would also be a decent cover, but they've got a different cover artist that they're going to be using for it, so I'm actually really excited to see how they're going to interpret my book for the cover of it. And there's a scene from the first short story that I released. This is from a very short comic that I wrote that's also set in that same world. This is a little coin dragon. I have tiny little 1-inch pins made from this. This is a very sissy looking pony. I was in the mood to paint. I didn't do this one in Clip Studio. I did this one in the Corel Paint software. It has a cute sparkly effect. It's like the salt on watercolor technique. There's a steampunk broken heart. This won me $200 in a contest, which I am still pretty happy with how it came out. This is a pencil original that I have. I have this one on some Zazzle art. This one I sold to Hellcat Press. This is their mascot. A creepy little dolly. And that's another concept that I had. This is a simplified logo for Magnolia Fawn Rescue. And that's one of my early pieces. This is a very recent commission that I did. So yeah, this will fit right in, sort of. I have a range. Let's see. I've set up an account with pirateship.com, so I'm pretty excited about that. I'm going to get discounted shipping costs or discounted postage, so yeah, that's going to be excellent. Now, I don't know that there's anything else that I need to work on. So I finished my field guide. I finished my digital copy formatting for. I finished my formatting for the digital copy of Soulbound 1. And oh yes, that's for the field guide. So I'm done for a bit. Well, what am I going to do with my life now? I'm not quite sure if these mountains need anything else. I really don't want to fuss with them too much. They'll distract from our foreground. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to call it done. I don't know what I'm going to draw next, though. But that's just as well. Because I do need to start closing these out a little bit earlier. So, let me show you. Over here at otherrealmstudio.com, shop comics and more. Yeah, this cart thing, I cannot subtract it now. Even though it doesn't function. But over here in shop comics and more, you scroll down and you can order Soulbound #1 for $3 plus shipping. I'm probably going to adjust the shipping cost. It's not going to be nearly as. I don't think it's going to be as much. since I've got the pirateship.com account. Okay, so this is issue 1 of my 10-issue series. It's about Becca Albright. She's a pragmatic med student suddenly flung between worlds to a realm of monsters, myth, and magic. Together with the sorcerously scarred warrior Torin, she must bring healing to warring nations and find a way home before her time runs out. And I also need to put a few more things up here, but currently I have the comic and my hatchable numismatic dragon kits. These are an ideal miniature breed for the beginning dragon keeper. They're a low heat breed, do not breathe fire, and their saliva is only mildly acidic and harmless. They require very little care and remain near hatchling size for their first 200 years or more. So yeah, and I've also made little change jars for them for their little habitats, and they'll help you guard your change. They'll enjoy hoarding it for you. Yes, and I also have a Zazzle store called, it's at Abstract Realm on Zazzle, that you'll be able to find it. And I need to take good pictures of my steampunk goggles and put those up. So I have all sorts of things that I want to write in my blog section. I just haven't had any time. I've been packing packages, and doing a lot of other stuff. So if you would like to subscribe to my newsletter, I would really appreciate it. You can come to www.otherrealmstudio.com. I have my newsletter button right here. And if you'd like to commission any art, there's an art commissions button right here. This will sign you up for the newsletter. This one will send you to a contact form. I think it will. Or my email. It's been a little while since I added these buttons. Yeah, I need to come back in here and update things. Oh yes, this is my other concept art for Penance Copper. And I have a contact form. And I have this lovely art, which David McConaughey colored for me. So he did such a beautiful job on this. So I do try to be much less rambling when I write. So my newsletters are rather shorter than my art streams. So if you have a minute, go sign up for the newsletter. If you need any art, you can commission me right here. And I'm going to be working on getting issue 2 of Soulbound out as soon as possible. And, oh, come on, what was it? Oh, yes, I'm going to be going to Soda City Comic Con in Columbia, South Carolina. It's August 10th and 11th, Saturday 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Sunday 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., which we drive down for that, so we really appreciate the extra hour to sleep. And it's a really fun con, and they have all kinds of special guests, a lot of voice actors. They've got I like at least half the cast for Batman the Animated Series is going to be there, and they have so many. But let me see. Floor plan and vendors. Come on. I have not actually looked. I think my table is 9 right here. This is where I was last year. So let me see. So you go in the entrance, you come straight down and look to your left. And this is where Other Realm Studio is going to be. Now, that one's the 2018 list. But I think they keep them pretty much the same from year to year. Like, originally we were down here in these spaces near the restrooms, which was very nice. But they've reconfigured how they were laid out since the first year we were there. So we got moved up to this one, and this is also a really good space. So for this one, I do go ahead and splurge on the whole vendor booth. I need to make some more. I need to make some more goggles and things. But yeah, if you're going to be in the area, please come on down, say hey. Let me know if you ever watch my art stream. I keep wanting to call it a podcast, but I actually have something on my screen here, so it's an art stream. All right, well, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have a minute, you can stop by my website, sign up for my newsletter. Don't miss anything important like Soulbound 1 or Soulbound Issue 2, which I'll be coming out with as soon as I possibly can. I need to update this right here. And thank you so much. I'll see you in the other realm. Good night.